Inside the cell in an area enclosed by a membrane is the DNA of the cell. This is the nucleus. Inside the nucleus is a dense area whose outer boundaries are not wrapped in a membrane. This is the nucleolus. This area shows up under a microscope as a dark spot inside the nucleus. Nuclei of cells are the areas where the cell reads genetic information, creates the RNA intermediary, and then produces the appropriate proteins. To do this, the cell needs to also build ribosomes, which are structures made of RNA that acts as workers to bring the various raw materials together. Size of the nucleolus can vary depending on the type of cell it is in. Cells that make more protein require more ribosomes to keep up with manufacturing, and so these cells have large nucleoli. Sometimes, up to a quarter of the volume of the nucleus is taken up with the nucleolus. Each adult human cell can have only one nucleolus, although different species of eukaryotes have varying numbers. A eukaryote is an organism with a membrane-bound nucleus, such as animals, as opposed to organisms whose genetic information is free in the cell, such as bacteria. When a human cell divides, 10 small nucleoli appear instead of one before merging into one large nucleolus. Nucleoli may have other functions apart from making ribosomes, and research is ongoing into an association between cell aging and the nucleolus.
The whole problem of connecting consciousness and DNA is huge and complicated. It's not trivial. We don't know a lot, and a lot of things are transdimensional. So we really have very few ways to reach there. But there are paths of connecting back and forth, and I will show a few connections. I will start from the model that we published a while ago, which connects DNA in the nucleus. So DNA is in chromosomes in the nucleus of the cell, and Hameroff and Pentros suggested that microtubules are important, and I think the argument is very strong that microtubules are transmitting and participating actively in the work of cells, and especially in the work of neurons transmitting information. So that's Hameroff, and he is basing that idea on the action of anesthetic drugs and on geometry of microtubules and on the function of microtubules. So what we suggested is that DNA vibrationally is coupled to microtubules. Microtubules are in cytoplasm, and they come close to the nucleus, and actually they connect to the nucleoli, and they plug into nucleus vibrationally this way. That's a hypothesis, not proven, but if you look at the photographs of microtubules, then perfect candidates for actually transmitting information. And the next idea is that DNA in one cell, that's the problem, how DNA can talk between the cells vibrationally. So DNA in the nucleus of one cell is connected to the DNA in the nucleus of another cell through microtubules. They vibrationally connect. They go to connection between neurons, which this is axon, and the connection is called synapse. So in synapse, they don't touch each other, but they come, if you look at the microphotographs, they come very close to each other. So there is a gap. And this gap is called synaptic junction or synaptic gap. It's a major, well-studied gap, synaptic gap, which is regulated by pretty much all psychically active substances. So this is well studied, and all the famous dopamine and serotonin and GABA and other transmission and receptors are regulated through drugs in this gap. So I learned this idea from Richard Alan Miller that resonance property of this gap probably defines a lot of qualities of the mind and psychology and emotions. So it's not only chemistry, possibly it's a resonance of the gap is the key to consciousness. So that's a simple model. That the DNA of the body is connected into one unified vibrational system. Nature of consciousness. And here I just accept the model which is known for forever. It is in all cultures that there is a universal consciousness and that that personal consciousness is part of the universal consciousness, and that the mind so that's the human body, that the human body is part of the universal consciousness, and that it cannot be separated, that the illusion of separation is just illusionary. And in this picture, I'm trying to place the DNA in it, and in the body, I place DNA outside to show that this, in my hypothesis is that DNA is the actual interface between the mind and universal consciousness, and much of the mind exists outside of the body and is connected to our physical conscious mind through DNA. So basically, through resonance and other information transfer, the universal, the external subconscious mind is connected to the internal mind. So that is part of the Frere model. And the second part basically says that the outside world, this green outside world, is created by as a simulation, is created from inside out. It's not only my model. I just accept the well known idea popularized in the movie Matrix that this is a simulation. I don't say it's computer simulation, but it is natural simulation in which the outside circumstances are created from inside out. Proving it is pretty much impossible because that simulation, it seems to have a rule that it protects the illusion of separateness and protects itself from being discovered. So from inside out, you cannot really prove that you live in simulation. You can have a personal experience, but sharing with others is prohibited. And there is a lot of protective programs that prohibit us from proving to others that we live in simulation. So the key from this slide is that physical body has a skin, and the skin separates us from outside. And it is an illusion that mind is located in the body and that mind is located in the brain. And this illusion is created by through resonances in DNA. The next idea is idea of fractal rendering. So rendering, you probably know from computer games, where in a computer, I don't know if you play computer games, but at least you watch people playing computer games. And in many games, they are multiplayer games, so multiple individual consciousness are in the game. And you walk through the world, or fly through the world, drive, and as you walk through the world is created in front of you. So that is idea of rendering, and it's also pretty well known. The idea is that the reality doesn't exist until you pay attention to it. So as you walk through the world is rendered as if it was stable. But that idea of rendering is huge. And the next idea of fractality is that you are a fractal part of the universal consciousness. You're a fractal fragment of universal consciousness. So the idea of fractality that I'm coming back here, that the main trick to understanding the role of biology and DNA is to understand that the illusion of body, illusion of mind, and illusion of time is created by separating us from the rest of the world. And what's inside the skin is a fractal mirror of the outside world. So what basically it's a mirroring, it's transformation, mirror transformation, fractal mirror transformation. What's inside out, what's inside is a mirror of what's outside. So that idea is, I guess, is it has many names, but one of them is monism, another one is solipsism, and it is known for a long time. That is a slide from my 2023 talk where I say that DNA from one cell talks to another cell through waves, and these are nucleosomes, and basically the structure of DNA is important to transmit the wave information, and then it can go from structure to waves, and then from waves back to proteins to structure.